Hi, this is Dr. Neal Schwartz. Today I'd like to talk about the very common concern of enlarged pores. My intent of this video is to scientifically explain what's going on with these pores to minimize the emotional reaction when we see them on our face or body. Let's start with the emotional aspects first. When we see enlarged pores on our nose, our face, or our body, we tend to have a negative emotional reaction. This negative emotional reaction is both curiosity or confusion, and we don't like the aesthetic of it. When you see the pores are enlarged, it's not just that you don't like them. There's multiple things going on. You don't like the way they look, you don't know why they're there, and you're worried that they will never improve, or even worse, get larger with age. That is the emotional spiral that goes on when someone looks and gets a negative reaction to enlarged pores. Today we're going to talk about exactly what's going on with these pores so that you can react less to them and so you can understand what's possible for them in the future. Here's how it works. Our skin stretches. The best and most common example to show the stretching of the skin is when you talk about ear piercing. If you put a very small piercing in, it usually doesn't stretch the skin too much, maybe it just leaves a hole. But if you add weight to that earring, or if you start to dilate the hole using wider earrings, you can see the skin continually stretches and it shows its ability to change over time under certain physical pressures. Use that analogy when thinking about enlarged pores. In the case of enlarged pores, the physical dilating force is the oil itself, congestion with debris and skin, or even the pimples themselves pushing on the walls of the pore and stretching them, similar to the way a large earring dilates an earring hole. This oily congestion and plugging is the sole cause of your enlarged pores. It's a tangible and physical dilation of the pore. Now the question is, once this oily congestion stretches the pore, can it retract back? And that is a good question. And it's a question that can also be related back to the earring. If you're on day one of dilating your earring hole, you can pull that dilator out and it will likely go back. But if you start to dilate your earring hole because you want a larger hole, and you dilate it for many weeks or many months or many years, that dilation will not go back so easily. So that's how skin works. Use the earring example to understand skin and then relate it to the physical dilation of enlarged pores. Now that you understand the cause of enlarged pores, let's talk about the general ideas for treatment of enlarged pores. There will be two categories. The first and most important approach to treating enlarged pores is to remove the dilating force so they don't get further dilated, and to give them a break from dilation so that they can naturally retract to the best of their ability. Like I said, if they've been dilated for many years, they likely won't go all the way back to normal. But they can go back partially, and that may be enough to satisfy you aesthetically. Remember, we talked about the aesthetic threshold in other videos. The goal for any type of cosmetic treatment is to get to the threshold of satisfaction, or the aesthetic threshold. So, number one is to remove the dilating force so that your skin can naturally retract as much as it can, whether that be partially retract or fully retract. This can be done only by removing all the oil, all the congestion, all the blackheads, and all the whiteheads from your face. This is easier said than done. In the Acne Bootcamp, our primary goal is to remove this congestion. Whether you're dry or oily, you can be congested, and we need to remove that congestion so that the skin can naturally go back to its normal state. Like I said, it's easier said than done, but it's always possible with the right weaponry and skill. Now, once you have the oil and congestion in total control, the second approach to treating enlarged pores is to make them look cosmetically better. And you can do that with all types of exfoliation, both non-invasive, invasive, at home, with practitioners, all of the exfoliating ideas that are out there in the world, whether they be chemical or mechanical, they help enlarge pores because they remove the top layers which are accentuating the rim of the volcano, or accentuating the rim of the dilated pore. I'll show you with a diagram, but if a pore is shaped like a cone and you remove the top layers, this cone-shaped diagram represents the pores of your skin. Notice at the top, near the surface of the skin, it's the widest, and you'll see from this line right here that you have that enlargement or that enlarged pore look here. Now, when you exfoliate your skin using any means, whether it's at home or with a practitioner, you take down the top layers of this cone and you end up with a smaller radius and a smaller diameter. And you follow this line now rather than this line. So if you were to exfoliate really well, your pore would be this far across instead of this far across. So you can see in a cone-shaped pore, exfoliation brings you to a smaller diameter. And the smaller the diameter, the less shadowing and the less you'll be able to visualize these pores. And that's the general goal for aesthetic work on enlarged pores. I hope this diagram helped. Now that you understand the cause of enlarged pores and the general treatment ideas for enlarged pores, let's talk about some real-life scenarios and see if this explanation of enlarged pores works for you in explaining these scenarios. I have many people in the Acne Bootcamp program who get their face extremely clean and removed of all debris, all flakes, all dryness, all oiliness, and then they ask me, Dr. Neal, after I clean my face and I feel very clean, my pores look a little larger. Why is that? So I'll ask you the same question. Why would pores appear larger after the face is cleaned better? Think about that for a moment. Here's the answer. When you remove all that congestion, all that plugging, all those blackheads, all of what was inside the pore out, it makes a little more of a shadow, and you can now see the depth of the pore that was being dilated by all that congestion. So when you clean out these pores that have been being pressed on from the inside out for a long time, what you leave is the pore. And the shadowing of the pores is what our eyes pick up. So, if you get your face ultra clean and then you see your pores a little more readily, know that you're actually just looking at clean pores for the first time and that they have been dilated all this time from prior congestion. So here's the bright side. Even without any exfoliating procedures at home or by professionals, if you clean out your pores at the level of total inactivation of oil, congestion, irritation, and plugging and blackheads, your pores will naturally retract, at least partially. And you can count on that after you have completely inactivated the congestion and the oil. One of the most common mistakes in treating enlarged pores is that people focus on the enlarged pores rather than the oil, congestion, blackheads, or whiteheads. And in doing so, you chase your tail a little bit because you're still dilating pores with the congestion while you're trying to treat them. And in this effort, you will not find satisfaction, as you can't make pores look better until your skin is completely inactivated of oil, congestion, blackheads, whiteheads, and any other type of inflammatory activity. Know that. Know that if you take on your skin, you take it on in a stepwise process. First, you must inactivate the congestion, the plugging, and the oil. And second, you can then very calmly work on the cosmetic and aesthetic issues. Any other order in tackling these problems will create dissatisfaction, confusion, and frustration. My hope is that this video puts an end to the confusion and misconceptions in regards to enlarged pores. As a recap and a way to generally think about it is that it's just a mechanical and physical dilation that is being caused by your oil congestion and plugging. If you get that, you'll understand that you need to remove that dilating force prior to worrying about your cosmetic concerns. It's similar to acne scarring, it's similar to acne marking. If you have activity on your face and you're more worried about dark marks, red marks, 3D scars, or enlarged pores, you're not following the stepwise process. The stepwise process is this. Inactivate everything. Your skin should be completely calm, free of oil, free of dryness, free of irritation, free of blackheads, free of whiteheads, free of cysts, free of activity, free of inflammatory processes. Once that happens, you can enter the next step, which is the cosmetic conversation. They are two completely different steps, as step one of inactivation is very time sensitive. If you leave that dilating force in your pores for a long time, it will dilate it more. And so step one of inactivation is highly time sensitive, whereas the cosmetic issues are not time sensitive. And here's why. Because if truly inactivated and in total control of your inflammation and congestion and oil on your face, time will help you even without any other procedures. So the cosmetic aspect of skincare is not time sensitive. I hope this video helps you to minimize your emotional reaction to enlarged pores, and I hope it helps you scientifically evaluate your skin. I hope you also understand the stepwise approach when it comes to these concerning aesthetic issues. I'll be here if you need. Take care.